just want to take this opportunity to welcome you to our Feel Great Live presentation. I'll be hosting tonight. My name is Dr. Akesia McMillan, and we are elated to have you with us on tonight. You may be here because you were invited by a guest or one of our coaches to really understand how you can improve your health, whether that's to feel better, look better, or live better. Or maybe you're exploring the opportunity to work with us as a health coach at Health Practice Advisors. My goal tonight is to answer those questions that you may have and to give you an overall view of who we are as an organization. We are a health preventative organization. And again, we love and enjoy helping individuals to feel, look, and live better. Before we get into our webinar, I'll start off by sharing a little bit about myself, my background, and how I ended up in this amazing space doing the work that I absolutely love here at Health Practice Advisors. My journey began when I was serving on active duty with the United States Air Force. I am a third generation military veteran. My great grandfather served in World War II. My father served during the Vietnam era. And as a child, I loved the lifestyle. And I decided that after high school, I needed to get a set of stripes and ribbons of my own. I raised my right hand, took that oath of office, and enlisted in the Air Force. And when I first enlisted, I wanted to become a medic. I wanted to work in the medical space, much like you, Bria. I wanted to work in that medical career field. However, my recruiter told me that I would have to wait about a year before that job opened up. So my second option was becoming an information manager. That's a combination of working in IT/administration. So I said, hey, I'll take it. And I loved actually doing that work, and it has served me well throughout the many positions and jobs that I've had throughout my career. But being in the Air Force was one of the most incredible experiences of my lifetime. Had a chance to travel all around the world and to work with some amazing men and women. But just as it was one of the most incredible experiences of my lifetime, it was also one of the most stressful because being in the military is a high operations tempo in and of itself, very demanding environment. And it got to the point where it led me down a 7-year cycle of being over medicated. I began experiencing a number of symptoms. I would go to my doctor, tell them what I was experiencing, from the migraine headaches to the cold hands, the cold feet, not being able to sleep at night, and just not feeling well overall. They were taking blood work, but every time the blood work would come back, it was showing up that there was nothing wrong. But I've learned over the years that working in integrative medicine, just because the blood work comes back showing that the markers are not indicating that there is a problem, that doesn't mean that there's not an underlying health condition that needs to be addressed. And that's what was happening with me. And at the time, I did not realize that I was entering into perimenopause. And even though they were taking a lot of blood work, not at one time did they ever think about or ask about drawing blood work to really measure where my hormone levels were. So this went on for 7 years. At the end of that 7-year cycle, I was on 10 to 12 different medications. Doctors were telling me there's nothing wrong with you. It's all in your head. One doctor told me that my blood work looked like that of an athlete. And I asked the doctor, I said, if my blood work looks like that of an athlete, why am I waking up every morning feeling like I've been hit by a sledgehammer? And with no answers, he would prescribe me another medication. And it got to the point where I said, I cannot do this anymore. And so I needed to do what we call an about face in the military. That means I had to change and move in a totally different direction. That led me down a path of pursuing a non-pharmaceutical solution to what I was experiencing with my health, because I was not getting the answers that I needed regarding the hormonal imbalance. I was experiencing the chronic fatigue syndrome, where it was taking me 3 to 4 hours at a time or more to get out of bed. The final diagnosis for me was when I got diagnosed with fibroids. My doctor told me, he said, hey, Sergeant Beans, we're going to have to test the fibroids to ensure that they are non-cancerous. Thankfully, they came back benign. But for me, that was a very pivotal moment where I knew that I had to do something drastically different because what I was doing was not working. I was over medicated and getting worse. So I again pursued non-pharmaceutical approaches to my health, and what I discovered radically changed my lifestyle. I went from being in a state of lethargy to having increased energy. I noticed improvements in my health. The blood work was coming back within normal ranges. And that let me know that there are things that we can do that are focused on plant-based solutions that actually work and that can remedy your health. After I retired from the military, I decided to go back to school to further my education with a background in social work and counseling, combined with a certification in integrative nutrition. I like to say that that's been a perfect career marriage for me with the counseling, social work, and integrative nutrition. And that has led me to doing the work that I do here at Health Practice Advisors, which is helping women to feel, look, and live better, and to let them know that there is an alternative plant-based solution that can totally transform your health. My lifestyle today is much different than what it looked like back then. I've gone from being over medicated to being on no medications for about 17 years now. I've gone from chronic fatigue to endless energy, no more fibroids, greater mental clarity. My health is better overall. I'm a mom of an adult son, and when we're together, people think I'm his little sister. So that is the running joke in our family. But I love being outdoors, experiencing nature. I was able to write a book out of my experience concerning 7 specific keys that I use to recover my health. And those are the same keys that we use here at Health Practice Advisors to help women to experience better health. And so we've come to understand that there is a plant-based solution to help women to improve their overall health. And as you see in the bottom of that corner, I'm with a group of amazing coaches here at Health Practice Advisors at one of our annual retreats. And we are on a mission, and that is simply to help others to improve their health. As I was going through my 7 year cycle, the underlying factor that continued to resonate throughout those 7 years is that they were not addressing the root cause of what was impacting my health. The same thing is going on today. They are not addressing the fact that individuals are over medicated. They're not addressing the fact that people are living in chronic states of stress, not addressing the nutritional concerns that really drive many of the metabolic health conditions that we are seeing today. In fact, many of the statistics are continuing to grow. Over 80% of women will experience fibroids by the time that they're 50, and I was in that category. Another statistic shows that 91% of women, as well as 97% of men, are fiber deficient. And when we're fiber deficient, meaning that we're not eating enough fruits, we're not eating enough vegetables or legumes in our daily diet, this is what leads to many of the metabolic health conditions that we see individuals suffering with from day to day. Women are facing PCOS at an all-time high. Women who are in menopause are being diagnosed with cholesterol, 77%. There is a pill for every ill, and doctors are basically evaluating to medicate. And many are caught up in this cycle when the truth of the matter is that 20 to 40% of metabolic diseases simply stem from poor lifestyle driven choices. As I shared that I was going through that 7 year cycle, women are still experiencing that same cycle today, but we're seeing it come in a different form. Women are being prescribed the injectable drugs, the GLP-1s, at an all-time high, whether it's Mounjaro, Ozempic, Wegovy. We see it at the forefront of everything, whether it's on social media, TV, radio, it is everywhere. But the alarming concern is that many of these companies are facing lawsuits because women are facing long-term side effects from these GLP-1 injectables, and it is becoming a major problem that is impacting women's health even more. The GLP-1s were not originally designed for weight loss. They come with serious side effects. They have nutritional concerns because they suppress the appetite. So women are not eating a nutritious, balanced diet as they should be. The root cause of what they're experiencing is not being addressed. They're just automatically being prescribed these GLP-1 injections. And it is also causing greater hormonal imbalance. This is unsustainable, and women are paying excessive amounts of money to get better. In fact, they are only growing worse. I'd like to share a video from one of our colleagues that shares what happens when you stop taking the GLP-1 injections.
This is what happens when you stop taking GLP-1 injections. Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Peptide, sure, they help you lose weight, but up to 40% of that weight loss is lean mass, your muscle and bone. Here's the scary part. Once you stop the injections, your appetite returns just like before. But now you've lost muscle, the very thing that helps you burn calories. So when the weight comes back, it comes back as fat. And you're left in a worse situation than when you started. These drugs work by mimicking GLP-1, a natural hormone from your gut that signals fullness. They trick your brain into thinking that you're satisfied. But isn't it crazy that we actually need a drug to stop eating? Here's the good news. You can increase your body's own GLP-1 naturally without needles, side effects, or sky-high costs. The real challenge? Our modern food environment. If it were easy to eat clean, protein, healthy fats, fiber, we'd all be doing it. That's why so many are stuck in the cycle. Diets, pills, injections, shakes. There is a better way. A natural system that fills in the gaps, giving your body the nutrients, vitamins, and minerals it desperately needs to feel full, energized, and truly healthy again. No diets, no injections, just real results, naturally.
And as you shared, there is a natural alternative to naturally boost your GLP-1 hormone, which we're going to talk about a little bit further into the presentation. As I shared earlier, the GLP-1s were not originally prescribed for weight loss, but they were originally prescribed for type 2 diabetes, which we know can be reversed through diet and lifestyle changes. 1 in 8 adults are currently taking these GLP-1 injections, 15% for women compared to 9% for men. And as I shared earlier, the underlying cause of what women are experiencing is not being addressed, whether that's weight loss, whether that's fertility problems, insulin resistance, PCOS, and even cardiovascular related health conditions. Doctors are not asking, okay, what is it that is causing you to have this excessive weight gain? Why are you experiencing insulin resistance or cardiovascular health conditions? Instead, they're automatically being prescribed the GLP-1 injections, which is only masking what women are experiencing and not helping or addressing the underlying cause. Now, in addition to being prescribed the GLP-1 injections, we are living in an over-medicated society. As I shared earlier, by the time I got to the end of my 7-year cycle, I was on 10 to 12 different medications. And nearly 50 to 70% of Americans use at least one prescription drug. And again, doctors are trained to evaluate in order to medicate and not get to the root cause of what individuals are experiencing. Now we'll take a listen to a couple of health professionals, a pharmacist, and a few of our doctors who share their insight regarding medications and alternative solutions.
Millions on this medication. You are one of them. You need to know this. Go to pdr.net, type in metformin, scroll down to mechanism of action. As you can see, it shows that it can lower blood glucose levels 25 to 30%. This graph here shows you the number of metformin prescribed in millions going up from 2001 to 2021. And this one here shows diagnosed diabetes cases also going up. More and more people are being prescribed these medications, but yet the number keeps going up. That's because you can't use medications to treat a dietary disease. So your diabetes journey might start with 500 milligrams of metformin daily, then it goes up to twice a day, and then eventually you'll need insulin. Your doctor might tell you that the number looks good, but if you're not addressing the root cause of the problem, it's going to get worse, and you might end up with more diagnoses such as type 3 diabetes, which is Alzheimer's. So the real problem is about 50 years ago, the food companies were taking dietary fibers from our food. And we consume these processed foods because it's convenient and it's addictive. So what happened if you put back the fiber? Here's the study from the University of Sydney. They are the experts on blood glucose. This study was done on a dietary supplement that's listed in the PDR. The people in this study had fiber before they ate their meal. The result shows 20 to 28% of blood glucose reduction, similar to the study on metformin. If this blend of fiber works as well as metformin, then why haven't you heard about it? It's because it's not a drug. The second part is a yerba mate compound concentrate, also in the PDR. It has a high level of chlorogenic acid, a novel insulin sensitizer, and potentiate similar therapeutic actions to metformin. This concentrated plant compounds has similar mechanism as metformin. Even though these plant-based supplements are in the pdr.net, doctors don't normally prescribe dietary supplements. It's very simple. You wake up in the morning and you sip on the concentrated yerba mate tea. The concentrated yerba mate tea can stimulate your own natural GLP-1 up to 70%, shuts off the food noise, decrease your cravings for carbs and sugars, keep you satiated longer, make you more insulin sensitive. And before your lunch and dinner, you're going to drink your fiber plant, that one that's in the study by the University of Sydney. These two products are proven to balance your blood glucose, and it's natural, no side effects.
Now we'll hear from a few of our doctors.
Balance does a very effective job in doing three things. Number one, lowering LDL cholesterol, raising HDL cholesterol, which is very hard to do. And number three, effectively dramatically improving triglycerides.
As an internist, I have lots of diabetes, heart disease, high cholesterol, all of those things. So I use it frontline for all those. Lots of folks are uncomfortable with some of the medicines we use these days, statins. And a lot of them are intolerant to them. So they like an idea there's a natural product available. People come off of medicine, which is always a lot of fun when I can start taking people off of things for cholesterol, for their sugars. I've taken a couple people off of insulin, which is always fun. They love that.
And so as we've heard from our healthcare professionals, we'll get more into presenting an alternative. Women are looking for alternatives outside of the GLP-1 injections. They're looking for alternatives outside of the prescription medications. And that alternative that we'd like to introduce to you tonight is what we call the Feel Great with GetFit 21 protocol. This is a wellness protocol that has shown proven results for the last 10, 15 years. It's been in inception since 2013, and over 50,000 people have successfully completed our program. We have learned that combining education with supplementation has been the key to our success. Women are able to achieve better results with accountability. It's endorsed by the medical and holistic community, and women find it to be very affordable. In addition, this program is trusted by healthcare professionals, as you've heard from the pharmacists, as well as a few of our doctors. healthcare professionals are looking for alternative solutions that are simple, that are science-backed, that are clinically proven. This is a non-pharmaceutical, medically endorsed protocol that delivers outstanding results, whether an individual is looking to lose weight, whether they're looking to increase energy or overcome many of the chronic metabolic health conditions that we see. The program has shown that it has long-term success in outperforming many of the weight loss programs and the drugs, such as the GLP-1s, without all of the harmful side effects. We have simply found that diets absolutely don't work because they are not sustainable for long term. We found that what does work is helping women to improve their habits that fit into their lifestyle, teaching that food is fuel, and incorporating physical activity that they absolutely enjoy. Within Health Practice Advisors, our coaches help to bridge that gap. So we take women who are in that state where they are not feeling well at all, whether that's hormonal imbalances, whether they're looking to lose weight, whether they're looking to overcome metabolic health conditions. Our coaches bridge that gap by providing an action plan specific to her unique needs and bringing her into that desired state of feeling, looking, and living better. Within our program, we have a concept that is wrapped around the belief that it takes 21 days to change a habit. On the screen, you see the curriculum that we use within our program. Women learn how to incorporate adequate amounts of protein, healthy fats, having a positive mindset, what it looks like to go forward in meal planning. And we teach these concepts for a period of 90 days. We like to say 21 days is just a jump start. So we have women go through 3 rounds of our 21-day program. The first round, again, they will receive health immersion education with what you see here on the screen, and we'll have a 1-week break. Then she'll enter into a second round of Get Fit 21, where she will be introduced to the same health education. And then we finalize it with a third round to solidify the health education as well as the healthy habits. We've learned that 90-day mark is what we call the sweet spot, where most women will experience the most noticeable results, whether that is increased energy, balanced hormone, the blood work comes back within normal ranges. So the 90 days is an exceptional place where women see most of the remarkable results regarding their health. While women are in the program, they have access to over 30 downloadable tools, from our beautiful welcome guide to our simple eating guide. Many women want to know, is this about food deprivation? And we like to say no, that it is not, but it is about healthy food choices. And so we provide a health food guide that provides a simple outline of what you can eat, what to avoid, in addition to providing health education through our colorful guides, through understanding glycemic index, to low carbs, to incorporating new exercise into their lifestyle. And for those women who may be struggling with diabetes, we also have health education in that regard as well. There are a couple of ways that women can participate in the program. The first way is through a private virtual environment. The health education curriculum that I shared earlier for the 21 days is what women will be exposed to while they're in this environment. And so for 21 days, they're receiving health content that will help them to improve and solidify those healthy habits. They are being accountable, sharing what they're eating, what they're drinking, what they're doing throughout their day. Now, for women that don't want to be in the virtual environment, we also have an automated platform where individuals can receive that information in the form of audio lessons, PDF files that will come every single day in their email box, so that they could receive that same content for those women who are participating in the virtual environment. In addition, we do have a Feel Great app that provides real-time progress. We always like to say that if you are not assessing, you are guessing. We want every woman to understand where she is at the beginning of the program to the very end of the program. Within the app, you will be able to track your meals, your height, your weight, blood pressure, as well as your hemoglobin A1C. There are videos, recipes, articles, and testimonials, and women find the app to be very user-friendly. In addition, we also have incorporated the medical nutrition that you've heard about into the program. One of the statistics that I shared earlier is that women are 91% fiber deficient and men are 97% fiber deficient. And when there is a deficiency, the metabolic health conditions arise. Well, the way that we remedy that or bridge that gap is that we incorporate fiber into the program through Balance. Balance is a natural plant-based fiber matrix. And then as women begin to introduce this into their diet on a daily basis, they will begin to experience lower cholesterol levels. They will begin to balance their hormones. The cravings that they were experienced will dissipate. They will also support healthy gut microbiome. Now, in addition to the balance, we also have an herbal tea called Unimate. Now, the main component of the Unimate is the yerba mate plant. It is what we call an adaptogen. Many women are experiencing high levels of stress, and because it is an adaptogen, it helps women to adapt to stress, meaning that it helps to regulate and calm the nervous system. It lowers anxiety as well as elevating mood. There are many clients that I've been able to help come off of their antidepressant medication because the yerba mate that is in the Unimate has a powerful effect for cognitive health. For women that are looking to increase energy, the Unimate is excellent for that. I like to enjoy it in the mornings as a pre-workout drink and throughout the day. Within Health Practice Advisors, we have partnered with Unicity, which is ranked as the #1 metabolic global health company, to integrate this medical nutrition into our Feel Great with Get Fit 21 program. Our brand partner owns the process, the seed to the system, meaning that they own the fields to source the ingredients for the Unimate and the balance. They've conducted over 20 clinical trials and studies at major hospitals and universities. Their work has been published in peer-reviewed medical journals as well as the Physician's Desk reference, and they manufacture their own products here in the US and worldwide. A little bit more about the balance. Again, it is a plant-based compound, a pre-meal fiber matrix with 5 different sources of soluble and insoluble fiber. Women will drink it before their largest meal of the day, usually lunch or dinner. It is also fortified with calcium, B vitamins, plant stanols, and plant sterols. And then the Unimate, also a plant compound rich in polyphenols, chlorogenic acid, as well as antioxidants. And this is important because, again, as I shared, women are under chronic states of stress. The Unimate helps to lower the cortisol hormone, which is the stress hormone, to help bring the body back into balance. Another key factor for this Unimate tea is that it helps to reduce inflammation because it is high in antioxidants. So women who are experiencing inflammatory response health conditions such as PCOS or fibroids, it helps to reduce the inflammation in the body, bringing it back into balance. We'd like to say that the Unimate and the balance have a synergistic effect, meaning that they simply work better together, better to improve cellular function, restore hormone balance, as well as address insulin resistance and the root cause of PCOS, fibroids, and hormonal imbalances that women face. The Unimate and the balance are both safe for long-term use without the side effects, as we see with many of the GLP-1 injections and the prescription medications. This is a way to avoid the risks of those synthetic drugs. Women receive whole body benefits from the inside out. It's scientifically proven and endorsed and sustainable for long-term consumption. Now, in addition, both of these medical nutrition supports have US patents. And if you know anything about a US patent, it is a very rigorous process. A couple of years ago, I helped a friend begin the process, and it is lengthy, but our brand partner has been able to successfully secure US patents for both of these medical supports for the Unimate and the balance, which speaks volumes about the efficacy of both of these medical nutrition supports. Now, in addition, our Feel Great with Get Fit 21 program has also undergone a 90-day clinical trial study. Individuals who have successfully completed the program noticed that there was greater levels of energy, they've lost weight, blood work has come back within normal ranges. And these are just a few of the doctors that work with us in Health Practice Advisors who share their experience of patients who have actually completed the Feel Great with Get Fit 21 program. Dr. Beauty Sway shares that she has hundreds of patients who have experienced dramatic improvements in their cholesterol, their glucose, their weight loss. She loves the simplicity and the education that it offers. One of the things that she's found most beneficial is that individuals have been able to reduce their prescription medications. Dr. Patel shares that his patients have been able to also achieve health benefits, whether that's improved nutrition, losing weight, increased energy, as well as reducing prescription medications with his patients as well. And then finally, Nurse Judy Gilman, she is a certified diabetes educator. She's been able to help her patients stabilize their glucose, their lipids, and their weight. And she has really enjoyed the simplicity of the program to help her clients to get into the best shape of their life. On the screen, you will see photos of the amazing coaches that work here at Health Practice Advisors. We are women who are multi-ethnic, we are multi-generational, we are from various backgrounds, but the one thing that we have in common is that we are passionate about helping women to feel, look, and live better. And if you are interested in becoming a coach and working with us here at Health Practice Advisors, we want to invite you to come back and spend time with us on Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, where our CEO, Jan Bloom, will take you behind the scenes and do a deep dive into how to build a successful coaching business right here at Health Practice Advisors. We'll shift the conversation a little concerning the silent attack on women's health. Whether we are transitioning through perimenopause or menopause, there is a major gap when it comes to women's health because as our hormones change, as our estrogen levels decline, it puts us at greater risk for many of the conditions that we see today. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women in the US and even worldwide. And we have to take a look at how hormones impact those heart disease risks for women. We also have higher levels of blood pressure and cholesterol issues. As I shared, 77% of women are diagnosed with cholesterol in menopause. And then we have women who struggle with losing the weight because of the various hormonal changes that are taking place within their lifestyle. The hidden driver behind weight gain, fatigue, and hormonal imbalance is often gone undetected. As I was going through my experience where doctors were running several blood work panels, but not running the correct blood work panel, they were not getting to the heart and the core of what was happening. Well, much of what happens with women is that we are not addressing insulin resistance because when our cells stop responding to insulin, that means sugar can't move into the cells to create the energy that we need. When that happens, it begins to trigger fat storage. That's when we begin to have the cravings. We begin to have that hormonal chaos, the hot flashes, the mood swings, not being able to sleep at night. Because when there's too much insulin in the body, again, it creates the fat storage. That's when the low energy comes to the forefront. Inflammation rises within the body, and many of the health conditions that women experience are at the forefront. Well, in order to address this gap, we integrate the medical nutrition into our health program. And when women begin to incorporate balance into their diet, they begin to see that there are changes. Their blood sugar levels begin to steady. That begins to reduce those insulin spikes that they are experiencing. Unimate helps to improve how the cells are responding to insulin, meaning that it improves their metabolic health to create more energy for her lifestyle. Many women don't know why they're feeling off. I was in that number. Many women are in that number, but we know that something is going on. Well, when our blood sugar and our stress levels are high, that causes our hormones to go on a roller coaster ride, whether it's the estrogen, progesterone, or the cortisol. That's when we begin to see the mood swings, poor sleep, the energy dips. And so, in order to alleviate those concerns, we incorporate the medical nutrition to bridge that gap because Unimate, as I shared, helps to lower the cortisol levels in the body, reducing the stress. The balance helps to detox the body as well as removing excess estrogen that might be within the bloodstream. And so, together, when women are incorporating the medical nutrition combined with health education into their lifestyle, their hormones begin to come back in sync. Because when the insulin improves, the whole body begins to function properly. That's when the mood is elevated. Women begin to experience an overall sense of wellness. Their cravings begin to calm down, cortisol levels drop, and women begin to sleep so much better. So we like to say with the balance and the Unimate, it is targeting the root cause of the symptoms. This is not going to be like the GLP-1s or the prescription medications where it's masking the symptoms, but it is addressing the root cause of the symptoms. So we believe that integrating real food with real science is what produces the real results. Now, in addition to our Feel Great with Get Fit 21 program, we also have an additional support through our Feel Great at Mid-Age Support Group, which is led by Coach Melissa Tippy. And I believe that I saw Melissa. So Melissa, if you could come out of mute and share a little bit about this amazing program.
Of course. Hi, ladies. My name is Melissa Tippy. And let me just introduce this group really quickly. This is a group for women who are navigating the changes that come with midlife, where Keisha's been talking about them all night. That's the weight changes, the cravings, the low energy, the sleep issues, the hormone shifts, the stress, the blood sugar chaos, the muscle loss, your gut health, and of course, our confidence and even our libido. And our goal is to make these conversations easier to understand and less overwhelming for all of you. And inside the group, we share education, practical tools, we share client stories, encouragement, and real conversations about what is happening in our bodies during this season of life. So this isn't about shame. We don't hand out quick fixes, and we don't tell you to just eat less and try harder. We learn how to support our bodies differently so that we can feel stronger, more informed, and more in control of our health and our bodies and our minds and all of it. And we believe midlife is not a time to sit on the sidelines. Hell no. We're in this to thrive, and it's a time to understand our bodies better, support one another, and keep thriving. So, ladies, we hope you consider joining this group. And if anything, just come and see how often I change my hair because that's fun. It's like every week. Thank you, Rakisha.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Melissa. I wish I had a support group like this. When I was beginning to go through the changes, it would have answered so many of the questions that I had. So ladies, as Melissa shared, we want to invite you to be a part of the conversation. Scan the QR code on the screen. You can find us on Facebook at Feel Great for Mid-Age.
Yes.
Now we'll listen to one woman's experience concerning the Feel Great protocol.
I was diagnosed with high blood pressure several years ago. I was always tired and I was gaining weight and nothing seemed to help. I went for my yearly checkup with my PCP. I still wasn't prepared for what she was about to tell me. After she looked at my labs, she basically said, you are a pre-diabetic, you have high cholesterol, and by the way, the blood pressure medication that you're taking, it's not working. There's several more prescriptions, and I thought there had to be a more natural way. So I started researching, and I soon reconnected with a high school friend of mine, Yvette, who was a nurse, and she pointed me in the direction of the Feel Great system. So I started taking the protocol, and I didn't tell my husband, but in the first month, he noticed something was different. And so then he asked, and I shared that with him, and then he started researching, and then he started taking it. So I'm 7 months in. I have lost over 40 pounds. My skin got better. I have no more food cravings. My energy is increased. I no longer have any aches and pains, joint pain, inflammation. It's been life-changing for me.
In December, then I went for my checkup. I was not prepared at all to hear, oh yeah, you're pre-diabetic. You need to just start moving more. We'll be putting you on some more medication. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. All this while I'm watching my wife. And in a couple months, I wasn't doing any changes, but she was changing. I was like, okay, what are you doing? So for me, I started looking at it and said, okay, let me start taking this, see what happens. And over the last 4 months, I went from 195 down to 155. I've read more papers and learned more about diabetes in the last 6-7 months. That's why we're here.
And I love that this is a husband and a wife team. Although we work with many women, we also help men as well. I'd like to share a few testimonies for clients that I have personally worked with that have improved their health with the Feel Great protocol. We'll start with the woman who is standing in the background with the beautiful blue skies. After working with her, she came off of all of her prescription drugs for the first time in 20 years. Her metabolism has improved, her thyroid hormones are regulated, and she has maintained a weight loss of 50 pounds. She has also come on board as a coach with us here at Health Practice Advisors. This individual that you see here drinking the Unimate, she suffered with chronic fatigue for 3 years after having COVID, but since starting the protocol, the excruciating pain and extremely low energy levels have decreased. She's off of her antidepressant medication, working out again, and more excited to have found this program. This individual that you see me standing next to, she was on 23 medications and doctors wanted to put her on 5 more. Talk about being over-medicated. After working with her, she lost 35 pounds, almost off of all of her medications, and her blood work came back within normal ranges, and that had not happened in over 20 years. And then finally, this individual was suffering with arthritis. She had not walked was not walking well. She was having trouble getting up and down the stairs. But after being on the protocol, she was shocked and amazed at how good she was feeling. And the testimonies continue. We have a nurse who was living with thyroid problems, Hashimoto's. She was on 13 medications. She is down to 1, down 50 pounds, loving the way she's feeling and telling everyone about this. Another person shares that he was able to reverse his type 2 diabetes, lower his A1C in 3 months, down 100 pounds. Another person, my blood work has improved so much. This has been life-changing for me as a licensed nutritionist. I now recommend this to most of my clients. And the testimonies go on. And this is one of the most rewarding parts of the work that we do here at Health Practice Advisors, that we have the opportunity to improve individuals' quality of life for the better. Now we'll listen to a few testimonials.
Protocol with my gut.
35 pounds.
Down 104 pounds.
And I've lost 30 pounds. I've lost 15 pounds.
And I'm down 68 pounds.
I lost about 80 pounds.
Yeah, I'm down 70 pounds.
I reversed my prediabetes.
I have lost 37 pounds.
I lost 14 inches off my waist.
I have lost over 70 pounds.
So it's been a total of 42 pounds and I'm still losing.
I've also shed about 8 inches off of my waistline.
I lost 46 pounds following the protocol.
My A1C had gone from an 8.3 to a 6.
I've lost all this weight. It's actually 52 pounds today. I was able to come off all my medications. I was finally able to eat food.
My A1C went from a 6.6 to a 4.6.
I'm at 171, 64 pounds lighter.
My A1C went from 7.1 to 5.9.
Stopped drinking energy drinks within probably the first couple of weeks.
And then we'll hear from another individual's experience with the protocol.
I'm in Granbury, Texas. I'm 61. I'm a grandmother of 13 grandchildren. Before starting the protocol, I had hypothyroidism, diverticulitis, hypoglycemia, IBS, and then it would go back to chronic constipation and menopause, that lovely thing. And consequently, I had gained a lot of weight, where before I could keep it off. And I think menopause and overall gut health had a lot to do with that. You know, I was a size 12, 14 prior to starting it. No energy, just want to come home and take a nap. Restless at night. I'd wake up multiple times at night, and it was just not very fun.
Jerry, tell everybody how long you were on the protocol before you saw any measurable progress.
5 months.
5 months. What happened to you starting in that 5th or 6th?
In the 5th month, that's when I always tell everybody, it was like the floodgates opened and the angels started singing. Everything started working. I'm not kidding you. I felt energy. I wasn't having hot flashes anymore. And then the weight started coming off. I was a size 12, 14, and now I'm a 2. I lost 60 pounds. I no longer have hypothyroidism. I no longer have hypoglycemia. I don't have diverticulitis. I don't have IBS. I don't have chronic constipation. I don't have hot flashes. I'm just a pretty happy person, and I feel amazing. I just want to tell people, not everybody's the same, and you may not have overnight success. Your body needs time to heal, and you have no idea what's going on inside of you, and you just need to stick with it and stay with it and don't give up, because it will help you and it will give you what you need to heal if you just give it a chance.
And I love what she said. If you give your body what it needs, it can heal if you give it a chance. At Health Practice Advisors, we believe that feeling great has never been so easy. We'll close out with one final video from one of our coaches, Debbie Keys, and her husband's experience with balance.
10 years ago, I was on metformin and my doctor kept increasing the doses every time I'd go in. And Debbie had nothing. She said, this is not going to go on like this. So she put me immediately on the balance. And within, I would say 6 months, 8 months, can't remember, that was 10 years ago, but my doctor couldn't believe it. He says, I never take people off of metformin. And he said, I'm taking you off metformin. My blood sugar was about 470 and my A1C was 6.5. And now it hardly ever goes over 80 to 100. And my A1C is 5.2. And I take no medications at all. And I just won't go without balance ever. I mean, balance is what has brought everything in line.
So we love the work that we do here at Health Practice Advisors. And when we get to help a family member, it's even that more the special. The first step to getting anywhere is deciding you're not willing to stay where you are. Maybe you've been listening to the presentation tonight, you've listened to the testimonies, and maybe you are in that place where you are just not feeling yourself. And whether it's the hormonal chaos from migraines to sleepless nights, PCOS, fibroids, constant inflammation within the body, you're going to your doctors, but you're not feeling heard, but you know that something is not right. Well, we want you to know that your body is not broken, that your body is not failing, and this is not just a part of getting older. It just means that your body is changing, you're transitioning, and you need to have the right tools and resources to be able to support the body with what it needs. And when you give the body what it needs, it will respond, it can restore, and it can recover. Because our desire for you is to have more energy without relying on caffeine, having clear thinking, being able to respond confidently throughout the day without struggling. And so we want to invite you to be a part of our Feel Great with Get Fit 21 wellness program. This is a place where you will experience increased energy, hormone balance, metabolic health improvement, as well as sustainable weight support. We share that this is not a quick fix, but this is a guided foundational approach where our coaches will help you to bring your body back into balance so that you can heal and function optimally. The next step is to be a part of our Feel Great with Get Fit 21 90-day wellness protocol. In fact, we have our next group that is kicking off this weekend. We would love for you to be a part of it. This is where you can get personalized guidance and accountability. You'll learn how to support your body as well as stay consistent. One of the things that we love sharing about our wellness program is that it is FSA and HSA approved, meaning that if you are working and you have health benefits through your employer through a flex spend account or a health savings account, we will work with you to find out if your provider is in the network. And if so, the entire program can be covered simply by the program without you having to take anything out of your pocket. It comes with a 90-day money-back guarantee because we are so confident in the program that we have to offer to those who are part of the Feel Great with Get Fit 21 program. And so this is a time where we love to get a little bit of engagement concerning the things that were shared on tonight. And so if you can come out of mute, you can come out from behind your camera and just share what you found interesting about tonight's presentation. What was it that stood out for you? Something that really resonated with you on tonight. And so Sharon, I don't know if you can come out of mute. Was there anything that stood out for you as we were going through our webinar on this evening? Not sure if you can come out of mute, Sharon. Adriana, was there anything that stood out for you this evening as you listened?
Hello. I mean, I would definitely have to familiarize myself with more of the program. However, from my own personal experience, all I can speak of, I know that it is possible to heal yourself with changing your lifestyle. As I had mentioned to Debbie, I was pre-diabetic, had high cholesterol, was extremely overweight. I went on a plant-based diet and completely healed myself through my own journey and the power of prayer. That is how I went on my own process of getting healthy. I was on a lot of medications and I'm completely off of everything now.
Wow, that's wonderful. And that's a testament, again, to the power of plant-based solutions that can really help to remedy your health. So thank you so much for sharing that, Adriana.
So it is great that you've created something where people can get it, even with their insurance, that can help guide them, because a lot of people are always needing more of a solution and they don't have the proper guidance. So
Right. Yeah, having the benefit through the employer has been one of the highlights of the program, again, because people are looking to get healthier, and if they have the benefit, they can certainly utilize it to improve their health. Rocky, and I hope I'm saying your name correct. I think it's Emmanuel. If there was anything that stood out to you this evening regarding what was shared or anything that stood out for you?
Yes, I've always been interested in the GLP-1s to because I'm just seeing many patients improve, and it's just good to know that there are other ways to go about it without worrying about the side effects like gallbladder issues and all.
Mm-hmm. Did you say that you were a nurse, Emmanuel?
Yes, yes, I was a nurse, still am kind of, but I went back to school. So whenever I'm just out, I've seen the GLP-1s do a lot of wonders for people, but it's good to know that what you have here can be something that's similar with no side effects.
Yeah, I'm actually working with someone now who was on the GLP-1s, and I just talked to her yesterday. And so she is using the protocol now as like an adjunct therapy to wean herself off because the side effects have just been so much for her. And so she's been using the protocol now for 1 month, and she's lost 7 pounds, but without the side effects that she was experiencing with the GLP-1s.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Laura, I'm not sure if you can come out of mute to share what you might have found interesting about this evening's presentation. Okay. Coaches, was there anything that you all would like to share at all?
I guess I would just like to add the distinction between the GLP-1 and the Feel Great protocol, that the GLP-1 actually inhibits our own natural hormonal system, and the Feel Great protocol actually supports and enhances our own hormonal system. So that's a big difference with that one. Just wanted to add.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for bringing that out. That's definitely one of the most significant differences. So thank you for bringing that out, Deirdre. Laura, she says, definitely interesting. Looking forward to learn more. Outstanding. And I know the coach who invited you tonight will follow up with you for more information. Sharon shares, having real conversations about my body and feeling better. I want to know what my body is truly feeling. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm definitely going to follow up with you, Sharon, because I would love to continue that conversation with you. Yes, Jan, our CEO, she shares, I lost 40 pounds on the protocol after gaining it during COVID. Additionally, couple the protocol with Get Fit 21 program, easy and fun. Thank you so much for sharing that. And so, yes, whoever invited you tonight, we are encouraging you to connect back with them. Again, our next group is starting this weekend. We would love to have you be a part of the program because we want to share that health education with you to help you to move back into that better place of being healthy again. You are so welcome, Marisa. So welcome. She says, thank you. Great information. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight for our Feel Great Live. Can connect back with your coach, and we're encouraging for those of you that want to work with us to come back on Thursday night, and we look forward to seeing you. Have a great night, everybody.